All right, here we go. I'm on my way to Cape George Lighthouse. There's a park near there. It says it's a day use park, but tonight it's going to be a night use park. And you know, I had a lot of grand visions at the beginning of the summer to do some big rides. I wanted to go up to Grand Banana at least. I wanted to go up to Submarine Gaspé, and I really wanted to do a Newfoundland trip. But alas, I'm going to South America for 3 weeks, and you know, there's only so much time that you can take off before, well, not only before they'll say don't take any more time off, more importantly, before I start to lose a lot of money. And I need money to be able to go places. So, this is my weekend trip of like the summer. This is crazy. It's mid-August, man. How did we get here? Road resurfacing, as far as the eye can see. It's nice. We need a little bit of improvement on some of these islands. Yeah, watch out. Now check out these power lines here in Amherst, Nova Scotia. Still using glass insulators. How sick is that? So a lot of the time when I do these sorts of trips, I often try to like really stretch myself and do way too many kilometers. But today I thought I'm going to be a new man. So today is slow movement. I'm going to be visiting Amherst, Oxford, Pugwash, Wallace, Tatamagouche, River John, Pictou, New Glasgow, before getting to my final destination. So here we are, the first town, Amherst. You know, I'm from British Columbia, right? And in BC, everything's made out of wood. So when I got to Amherst, Nova Scotia for the first time, I saw all these buildings. Brick. Brick, 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 brick. I just think it's so cool. And here we are on the north end of Amherst. And I assume that this used to be the ritzy part of town, but these houses are so nice. Look at that. Fantastic. This first section of the road, Highway 6, Amherst to Pugwash. Now, I've driven on this road maybe once or twice on a motorcycle, but actually several times in a car. And I gotta say, this is much, much nicer on a motorcycle than this in a car. Just like so many roads in Nova Scotia. See, all the roads, they're all popped up, all like this. Yeah. I mean, it's just this never-ending vibration when you're in a car. When you're on a motorcycle, you just don't have to deal with that. One wheel in front of the other. Nice. Anyway, this is a great new road on a motorcycle. As are, like, so many others. You know, Nova Scotia is just absolutely full of this wonderful little roads like this. They really dig it. Cows. So heading down Highway 6, you're going to leave from Amherst, which is on the Fundy side of Nova Scotia, and then you cross over to Pugwash, which is on the Northumberland Strait side of Nova Scotia. And the Northumberland Strait, I love every town along the Northumberland Strait. New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Whether you're all the way up in Carrickett or heading all the way down to, I guess, New Glasgow, heck, all the way up Cape Breton. All the Northumberland Strait towns are lovely. I think the Northumberland Strait is a wonderful body of water, and it has the best beaches because, again, being from BC, you go down to the ocean and all the beaches are rock because, you know, the Rocky Mountains. But all the beaches here, nice soft sand, lots of crabs, lots of little shelled fish to go and find, and the water's nice. We're following straight rules. And Pugwash is great. I've been down here for Canada Day a couple of times. I've been down here just to check it out. Fine little town. They got the Highland Games here, which is also awesome. Now, when you enter Pugwash, Nova Scotia, the sign says, world famous for peace. And as much as that is true, it's because of the Thinkers Lodge. This was the first place where Eastern and Western... this is the first place where American and Canadian and, well, Allied in general, representatives met with the USSR to discuss nuclear disarmament. So yeah, I mean, it is actually... it's a reasonable claim. I wouldn't say it's famous, but if you were to look it up, this is the place where it happened. So, certainly a world notable place. Alright, so check this out. So I was just editing this, alright? The sign says world famous for peace. And you know, I don't want to lie to you, so check this out. We're gonna go over to Chrome here. We're gonna go nuclear disarmament. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Well, thank you, AI overview. Oh, Wikipedia. Very nice, right? Control F. Pugwash. Oh, look at that. I wasn't lying to you.
The thing is, Rory.
Now, I could get back on Highway 6, and that would be just fine. But I could also turn left here and go along the Gulf Shore Road, which is almost certainly going to be more exciting. And I might have to pass this guy. Just now I stopped to take a shot of those towels flapping in the wind. It was very idyllic. That's it. Started up the motorcycle again, went to turn around, and then on the other side of the street from the towels, there's a guy standing in his front doorway looking at me. So, started to cause a disturbance in the old community here. I turned around taking pictures of towels. Well, maybe he'll get to see the finished product someday and know that it was worth it. A big hole? Alright. Oh, finally get some sunshine! Hello, Mr. Sunflower. Nice to see you. Oh, glorious. It's been so gloomy today. I don't know what it was about today, but I mean, a lot of the times I, stop and take photos of things and look at things, but today just felt so good for stopping and looking at things. I came across this old plant. It was called West Steel. Old abandoned sort of industrial looking bit of a hub right here, but this is just a really neat little building. Lots of pigeons around. And yeah, it's just interesting. This used to be something, man. What happened? But heading eastwards out of Pugwash, you come across the next great little notable town, which is Tatamagouche. And again, like all these towns, I really highly recommend checking this place out. It's touristy, right? It's got all the stuff for if it's the summertime, you stop by here. They got ice cream, they got breweries, they got restaurants, they got a little local museum thing, all of which are great. I've been in all of them. Fantastic little town, Tatamagouche. So I took a little walk here, took some pictures of flowers, because obviously, and it's funny. This might be the first video that I post since I tell my grandma about this channel, but I remember being a kid and my grandmother taking photos of flowers, and when you're a little kid you think that's kind of lame, but now that I have a camera, I just really like taking pictures of flowers. It happened. A full circle moment for me. Again, continuing down Highway 6, we got River John with this lovely little boat launch here. And then even further down the road from River John, we get Pictou. Now, if you were to do the old-fashioned taking the ferry from PEI to Nova Scotia, this is where you're going to end up. It's just on the north side of Pictou. And Pictou itself is somewhat connected to New Glasgow. Now, both great towns. I wouldn't dump on New Glasgow. But Pictou is definitely the nicer side. If you're going to go down to this area, you have to choose between seeing just one or the other. Pictou is really the place to be. It's a very beautiful little town. And they got the ship Hector over here, which is just its own story, its own massive thing. But essentially they're rebuilding the ship that came across from Europe and landed here with the original settlers. It's taken them literally forever to do it, and I'm sure it'll take them literally forever to finish it. And then when I went to leave Pictou, I wanted to change out the battery in my GoPro, and then I snapped my GoPro mount. Alright, since my camera mount busted for the GoPro, I had to take a detour to Walmart, which is now pushing behind schedule. Sun is going down, it's a little at 7:10. And the sun goes down around like 8:15, something like that. And I'm an hour away from where I have to get to, where I'm not to set up camp. So, I'm taking Route 104, cheating a little bit by going a faster way, up until Highway 4, then I take the exit, and then I get back on my little squiggly road, all the way up the way out. We're moving. Well, now I screwed up even more. I got so caught up with busting my camera mount that I forgot to buy gasoline. So now I gotta go backwards a ways. Just one exit, but I gotta go backwards. And look at that, the sun's going down, man. Gotta get on.
Only at Esso and Mobile Station.
All right, what we got? 9.7 liters. 9.7 liters to go how far? $250 kilometers. That's under 3 liters per 100. Good golly. Now this little section of road you're going to see on the screen right here highlighted in blue. Now, once I got onto this section, it was awesome. And then the further and further I got onto it, the more awesome it got. And then by the time it reached the pinnacle of its awesomeness, it was already kind of too dark for the GoPro to capture it anymore. And it's absolutely killing me that I don't have good footage of this place, because this is the best place that I've ever ridden, hands down. And I got to confirm that the next day, because I went to my favorite place to ride before this, and I found out that my old favorite place to ride isn't nearly as good as this, and this is just the absolute best. So yeah, it looks a lot like Cape Breton, because it's very close to Cape Breton, but there isn't people all over the place because it's not actually Cape Breton, and it ruled. Alright, there's absolutely no way this shows up on a GoPro, but I assure you it's extremely beautiful. Let's see what this thing does. Probably not.
You know when you go into your kitchen late at night, you just want to like make some food for yourself or something, and maybe there's somebody else asleep in the house, perhaps your wife or whatever, you know? And you just want to make some food. So you like take the spoons out of the drawer, and it's like the loudest thing you've ever heard in your entire life. And then you pull a plate off the shelf, and it's like the loudest thing you've ever heard in your entire life. Well, I had an experience like that. Camping at this lighthouse, it was like the quietest place I've been in a very, very long time. It was exceptionally quiet. And then I was like sitting in my tent and like putting my camera gear like back into the motorcycle, and it was so loud. It was the weirdest thing. So, yeah, it was really, really, really quiet. And then the entire night, there was a flag on top of the lighthouse and it kept on fluttering. And it sounded so much like rain, but it wasn't. But I kept on thinking it was raining. And then again, I woke up in the morning, I hear putter sound. Really peculiar, but super nice spot. It was the kind of spot that looked like it's normally insanely windy, and yet it just had this never-ending breeze that was honestly so light I couldn't even feel it. But maybe it was only up in the lighthouse section there, but really cool spot. Highly recommend Cape George. Extremely beautiful.
So to get to the next town, I leave the way that I came, and when I get to the dead end, I turn left. Actually, I should make another pass here. Leave nothing behind, right? Let's see. Did I leave anything behind? Nope. No. Over here real quick, since I was over here. Oh, there's a little boat down there. Nice. Alright, I've left nothing behind. Truthfully, I had such an awesome time on the road that led me to Cape George that I kind of wanted to go back the way I came so that I could experience that again. Or I could have continued down the Cape. And I decided to do that. And it was also awesome. The entirety of Cape George, start to finish, absolutely fantastic. 10 out of 10. I have not found a better place in the Maritimes that I like more. But I do have to go down to Lunenburg and ride the coastline there again, because that was really awesome. But for now, I'm saying that this is my favorite place, hands down. It was just awesome. And there was all these little towns, little houses. There was lots of like old barns that were falling over and decrepit, which I love seeing. Unfortunately, I didn't stop very much to take video of them. But there was just so much cool stuff down here. And the coastline was beautiful. And it looks just like Cape Breton, but it's not Cape Breton, which makes it great. No diss on Cape Breton. Fantastic time. And to be clear, for those of you who are going to ask, no, I have not ridden a motorcycle on the Cabot Trail. I've driven the Cabot Trail in a car, which admittedly is not as cool, and I bet I would enjoy it more on a motorcycle than in a car. But there's just so much. There's so many people down there, and there's RVs. I don't want to come across an RV while I'm having an awesome time on my motorcycle. No. And that's the only thing that worries me about going down to the Cabot Trail on a motorcycle, is that it's going to take me forever to get there because I have to leave from Moncton. So it's like 6 hours to get there. Maybe not quite that much, but pretty close. And then if I get stuck behind an RV, It's just not going to be awesome, you know? So, I don't know. I'll get there someday. Whoa, would you look at that? It's my favorite parking spot. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Why can't we have Art Deco anymore? Every other style gets to come back after some amount of time. Why can't Art Deco come back? Please, please engineers, please graphic designers, please bring back Art Deco. And I promise that there's more to love about Antigonish than just the single Art Deco sculpture. It's great. 5 cents to $1 store, absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I got to town a little bit too early and most of the stores weren't open yet. But, oh man, Antigonish is great. Alright, I've just passed New Glasgow. Now I'm in the depths of suffering because the inset of New Glasgow, these two RVs floated in front of me. Now I'm going slow. '80 zone, man. This is an '80 zone. Can't I go to 80? Oh, this is pain. This is pain. Pain in my brain. Look at that. 80. How fast am I going? 45. Every day I'm suffering. So this was 180 kilometers on 7.3 liters. Just a very small touch over 4 liters per 100. Not bad.
Now, it was supposed to, like, rain. It's hard to tell. Actually, the thing is, there was a forecast saying that it wasn't really going to rain, and then I thought, I should check the forecast, like, directly before I leave, and then I didn't. And then I just left, just embraced the moment. Maybe it was going to rain, maybe not. And then the only spot where I got any rain was just heading into Truro. Other than that, no rain.
Now, truthfully, this next little segment, I wanted to make an actual entire video about, but if I made an entire video about the Berlin Wall, I would just get too mad while I made it. And I actually did record a segment of myself at this Berlin Wall section here talking about it, and no, I got too mad in person too. Western democracies don't stand a chance against you if what you have to do in order to keep your people is wall them in and gun them down. But no, that's just Soviet development for you. So this is insane to stand next to these things. My goodness. But this is in Bible Hill, Nova Scotia. It's just outside of Truro. And this is one of the largest collections of the Berlin Wall outside of Germany. And I did this big segment, and it just got like really bitter and angry. Yeah, but it is really, really impressive to see these in person. And consider their historical context. So if you're in the area, I highly recommend. Now, for essentially the entire time that I've owned a motorcycle, my favorite section of highway has been from Advocate Harbor to Parrsboro. And I would slightly include Parrsboro to Truro, but really Advocate Harbor to Parrsboro is the primo dremo. And having now ridden around Cape George, I was really excited to try it again the next day and then see how it stacked up. Is it still as good? And I gotta say, it's really not. I really like Cape George. This has been ruined for me now. I've been down here a bunch of times, and Cape George rules. So, got a favorite spot. You can even hear, if you play that back, you can hear just a little tire squeal. It's so funny. Also, the entire time that I was riding around Cape George, I didn't ride off the road like that. So, points to Cape George on that too. Now, I think I've had 2 or 3 people message me in the past say next time I'm in Parrsboro to send them a message. We'll meet up. Well, I am in Parrsboro. Didn't message me because I was supposed to get canceled this weekend, but then I had to cancel that because I didn't have enough time to get there yesterday. I wanted to do an overnighter, so I ended up in Cape George instead. And then I thought, I'm gonna make a bit of a detour on the way back from through Parrsboro because, dang it, I really like this place. So stopped off co-op here, got myself some Swiss rolls. Get to see the town again. What could be better? So then that gets us all the way down to Advocate Harbor. And then from there, of course, make my way along the funny coastline, Joggins, all that kind of area, up back to Moncton. And I've done this on, this is now the Burgman 400. But I've done this on every motorcycle that I've owned. So I did it on the TU250, the GS450L, the V-Star, Concours 1000, and now the Burgman. And I guess for this section of highway, I would say, I don't know which motorcycle was the best for it. Actually, I gotta ride the TU250 down here again because the TU, you can just ride it on full throttle and it doesn't really excessively speed in this area because it can't actually go fast enough. I haven't had a car essentially for the entire summer. I've just been a motorcycle man since basically May. And it's been really, really fantastic. And when I got back in October, November, gotta figure out another car. Maybe I might even try to be a motorcycle man into like December or something. But I guess to be like negative 30 around here, so January motorcycle man just isn't really a thing. But we'll see what happens when we see it.